Hello, I'm Tanya, the host of the Comeback Seat. Welcome, welcome. And today we have Andy Nilo in the seat. Hello, Andy.
Hey, how are you? Great
I
morning.
am I am great. I am wonderful. It's beautiful in Oregon, but freezing cold. You're in warm, warm weather.
Warmer. I can't wait for it to get a lot warmer. It's about, I don't know, I guess 50s right now. Not, what part of Oregon are you in right now?
Salem.
Salem. Okay.
Salem, yeah. I'm 50, about 50 miles north. No, south of Portland.
Do you know where St. Helens is?
Yes.
Okay, that's where we get Santal Black made. Pretty stoked about that. I've never been, but that's where we get one of our products made.
Well, now you have to come and visit and go
Oh,
check it
no.
out.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, I love your story. I have a million questions, but obviously we don't have time for a million questions. But I am in love with Altura skincare products. And that's basically my friend who's a wellness coach, co-host Jan Johansson told me about it. And that's where this all started to get to know who Andy is. But can you tell the listeners a little bit about you before your accident?
Oh, yeah. I was an athlete, went to UC Berkeley, bounced around a little bit, UC Berkeley, St. Mary's, Sacramento State. After baseball ended, I moved down to Los Angeles. I had a off-season job with Abercrombie and Fitch, so they transferred me to the Palo Stanford Shopping Center store to the 3rd Street Promenade down in Santa Monica. I was living on a friend's couch. He was an actor. And one day he was asked me to run lines with him. That means be the opposite character in a baseball related film called Great American Dream for the lead role in this film, which living with an actor at that time, I still think is pretty cool or whatever. But I just I just thought his career was so interesting. But being fresh out of baseball, right, I was able to provide like authentic, I guess, relatable experience to his role, which really helped him. And also, for whatever reason, I memorized my lines really quickly because I wasn't overthinking it. And he's like, dude, you're pretty good at this. Have you ever thought about getting into it? I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I've never taken an acting class. Like, how do you even go about doing that? Anyway, he got me a read for that role that he was going out to, which never happens. He had a good friendship with the director, Roger Lim, and he got me, an audition for that. I remember just being so nervous in this park in Burbank beforehand. Anyway, I got a call back, which is hilarious. It's like a needle in a haystack, just to get that audition. There are thousands of actors, right, in LA. And then I felt this was just a lot of fun for me. I had never planned any of it, but, got another call back, screen tested, ended up booking that role as the lead in a feature film, independent feature film where we shot for 6 weeks. The director let me go off script and because I was 3 months removed from baseball. So I was able to really get into the lead role of that character, which is very close to me in my college career. So it was a lot of fun. Got representation through that film, was able to put together a reel where I got, pitched for other shows, booked Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Fox Pitch, several TV shows. And it was amazing. And then just one day crossing the street, that all got put to a halt. I was on Melrose, looked down at my phone, got hit by a westbound heading Land Rover, hitting the eastbound lane, run over by a Tundra, clothes cut off me in the middle of the street, and woke up in Cedars-Sinai ICU, just unrecognizable, but alive, and I had a long road to recovery, but I had a nurse that was an ex-Marine. He's like, hey, I was there for about a week. And he's like, hey, any day, you can walk out of the hospital. It's a pretty good day. Good luck on your recovery. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So you're all healthy, living the dream in Hollywood. All these people go to schooling. They try out for acting. They're not getting it. And here you get in the door just by reading a script, your personality, your looks, everything. Like, hello, Hollywood, right?
It's a trip. Got my SAG card. I mean, all this happened within a few months. And I was really excited and celebrating a little bit too much. I had a couple friends sit me down. It's still, I mean, looking back, I'm still represented. It's the most fun job. I mean, Alitura is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But acting is just different. When you're on set, you're around, I mean, everybody there is pretty much living their dream with even the PAs kind of helping you out. There's a buzz on set when those cameras start rolling and you go to your trailer and you got these craft services, you got your script. You're like, I mean, we all grew up on movies while watching TV. At least I know I did. I mean, shooting a scene. I remember I shot Fox Pitch with Zach Morris. His name's Mark Paul Gosselar. I grew up. I got an hour of TV a day. I watched Wonder Years and Saved by the Bell. Right.
Best shows ever.
Oh yeah, and I remember my manager was Kevin's dad from Wonder Years, and the catcher
Okay.
scene with was Mark Paul Gosselaar from Saved by the Bell. Like the serendipitous aspect of that. Like I remember shooting in San Diego for a week and just going, whoa, what? And Mark Paul Gosselaar and I kind of got along. Anyway, it was just such a trip, right? You have, it depending on, obviously it's really hard to book the role, but once you're on and you there's nothing like it. So
And how
entertainment,
old are you at the time?
I was that was after the accident. That was 2015, 2016. So 35 and, uh, geez, am I doing my math right? Yeah, I think so. And, yeah, 2016, but my first one had to be 2009, 2008, 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. I'd have to look at IMDb. That all the credits are on there, but there was a little bit of a break after the accident, but not that long. Like
So do you remember that day? The
I
accident? Do you remember the feeling? I mean, he hit you, and then you go into ER, and you're there, coma.
coming in and out of consciousness on the ride from the ambulance to Cedar Sinai. I remember some of the first responders. I wish I have a whole different. I mean, not that I didn't respect first responders, but it's just like when you see them around, it's like, man, these people brought me back to life, and they do this every single day, all day. So, and then I had a really, close relationship with my doctor, Dr. Joseph Brugiardi, who put my plates in, and I
Okay.
mean, it was unrecognizable. And he's like, I promise you. Just give me because I met with him monthly for x-rays to see how the bone is growing back. We had a titanium plate put up top, one on bottom, that I got removed once the bone grew back, which my face was so tight. I could feel the little plates in there. So, but the removal was almost as intense as getting it put in, if that makes sense. It was like going through the whole recovery again. It was terrible.
Sure.
So glad I got them taken out. But he and I had a really, strong bond, I mean, such like a vulnerable place. No teeth, jaw wired shut.
Right.
And,
So what made you decide? Did you try a product, and then you're like, this isn't, my scars are not? I mean, how did you get involved with? I want you to tell the story, but I'm trying not to tell the story. But how did you know that you wanted to get involved with skin products?
I've been doing DIY stuff out of my little apartment. You can ask my former roommates, and luckily I'm still friends with them, so they can kind of shoot little videos for us and tell me about the little creations I just mix up in our little bathroom that we shared. Run back to my room. I put it all under the sink. It was like at that point. So in 20, I want to say like 2002 or 2003, I got my first clay mask. One ingredient, calcium bentonite clay, and the where I got into skincare and ingredients in the first place was from UC Berkeley when I went from Neutrogena, Clearasil, Noxema, and on an off day, I went into this natural food store, got my first supplement. The brand was Flora. It was like this aqueous silica horsetail extract. And then this guy just kind of started explaining the importance of just eating clean and paying attention to the ingredients that you were putting on top of your skin. Cause I was 18 years old at this time. Like I was eating dorm food, weight, but I had very bad back acne. So luckily I had that conversation with him, and I went from those products to just Dove soap. And from, still, I didn't change up my shampoo or anything like that, but I remember it standing out five ingredients in the soap bar of soap. Two of them were coconut derived surfactants. And at 18 years old, all that clicked and made sense, and made a huge difference in my back. Like, being a Pac-10 athlete, changing in the locker room, teammates can find something that makes you insecure and really just hone in on that. And it really bothered me. And, stuff like that could be a catalyst in a lot of different areas. But that's how I like got into skincare. It went from, I even got like their little night cream. It had a little what made with CoQ10 and rosehip, and there's CoQ10 and rosehip in our night cream now, just as tribute to those first elements. I was 18 years old, so this has been something that I've been interested in, and obviously made fun of as a guy, but it really helped out in the entertainment industry too, because you want to look like your pictures. A lot of people get brought in from pictures, and then they go into the office and hair's all messed up. They don't take it seriously. So like the discipline and work ethic that I had and took to like a baseball game, I took the same preparation into my auditions, and skincare played a big part of that. You want to present your best self. You put everything into studying those lines and that script, and then why not do the same for your appearance? And my first dip into a clay mask was Aztec Healing Clay back in 2002. And so it's one ingredient. So I just had this little secret weapon that I would do before going out or dates or definitely auditions. But then I started sourcing that one ingredient from greenclays.net, found out about Rasoul clay, French highlight clay, kaolin clay, all these different clays. And it's pretty affordable. It just, I was interested in this. Keep in mind, this is back in, by this time, 2006, 2007. And I had like this little 3 ingredient clay mask. And then I got a facial and I asked what they were using. And she explained that it was kelp powder. So I, boom, went home, sourced that, added that to that 3 clay mask. This is like 2007. Then I found out about vitamin C. You can buy ascorbic acid in bulk. And this was all just mixing together. I had this little secret mask that I would do every Sunday night before a week of auditions, 2007, 2008. So when I got into that accident, I had that in my back pocket. And at that point, seriously, I had cacao butter that I'd put on before I laid out in the sun. I made this little paste with manuka honey, cacao butter, beeswax, buckthorn oil, and I like would put it in my hair. I was fascinated with how effects of taking care of yourself would make me feel, truthfully, like. And then also it had benefits because, with entertainment industry, you want to look a little younger than as young as you can to get submitted for those roles. And I didn't want to be like the young dad at 25 or whatever. I want to still go out to those 18 to 25 type roles. And you got to look the part. And I couldn't afford like these huge laser treatments or anything.
Sure.
My own. And so that is the true story of my DIY kind of inventions that I was doing on my own that I had in my back pocket post accident to use as a little remedy to increase circulation to the surface of the skin, to mitigate that swelling and ideally mitigate the scarring effects. I couldn't afford the creams and serums that the doctors were recommending that I use to kind of mitigate the scarring. And I didn't trust the ingredients inside of them anyways. I mean, you get a trace element of an active ingredient that's meant to reverse the scar, right? But it's filled up with glycerin and fragrance. And I just, like I said, I got into this when I was 18, 19. I just didn't trust the ingredients. So I made my own without those holes, without the fragrance, without the synthetic preservatives. And it really worked. The same people who saw me in the ICU just weeks later were blown away. I mean, obviously the scar wasn't gone yet, but the swelling had gone down a little bit. The abrasions were gone. And I just stayed consistent. And you can see it before picture. I mean, it's, so something like that, like it not only makes you feel good, but these people want to know what I did. And Christina Rodriguez is her name. She lived like a few blocks away from me. I went over there, mixed up this mask, lavender oil at the time. I wouldn't recommend lavender now, but that's what I was using. Apple cider vinegar. And it smelled awful because I had way too much kelp powder and throwing it together. I never had an intention to start like a business or make this a product, but it was kind of cool to have people who fell in love with it. Like they needed it. I was driving all around LA before my like bartending jobs. And I would just mix it up for them, ask them to send me a picture because I was documenting this on Facebook. And
well, you didn't want them to harm themselves. So you're giving them natural products. So it's not like you're going to get like sued or anything like that. But so you're showing up to the bar with little containers and handing them out to your customers? Yeah. Well,
they weren't customers. They were just friends and friends of friends. And I'd ask that they shoot a picture because it was fun. It was like, oh, what's that clay mat? It was extremely effective. And for whatever reason, I just wanted to share it. I got, the coolest thing was like getting introduced to estheticians, dermatologists, and then, being so nervous and they try it out on their sons or, but they would give me feedback. That's what it was. It was a little too concentrated in ascorbic acid at that time, very stimulating. So I kind of dialed that down and honed in that formula for about a year and a half because I was back in the industry. The whole goal was just to get back working as an actor and model. I mean, that's what I did for a living. And I definitely did that. But shortly after the accident, I booked an Oakley campaign and a few of those TV shows that I mentioned to you, Hello Ladies on HBO. And I worked more than I had before. So it was great. But what I wanted to do was reach out to Dave Asprey from Bulletproof and just thank him because I never drank coffee before this. And it really motivated me to get out of bed. And I loved his attention to detail with ingredients and talking about single heirloom cacao pods and the importance of sourcing and his quality assessment of ingredients was just next level. So I troubleshooted his email address. I found the contact form at Bulletproof. It was like info@bulletproofexec.com back then. So his name's Dave Asprey, E.Asprey, Dave.Asprey, David at bulletproofexec.com. Like 7 different combinations. One of those went through. His EA got back to me, and they brought me on board as a Bulletproof ambassador, which was a total victory because I could barely afford the products. Right, they were sending me the coffee, chocolate powder. I was wearing the little Bulletproof shirt, putting on a clay mask, and they reached out a few months after that because they must have got more familiar with my story. I mean, it's a great, example of his products, right? Like, here's a guy, unrecognizable, kind of an actor or whatever. But we didn't discuss his clay mask about halfway through that interview, February 1st, 2014. He asked what I did for my skin, and we hadn't discussed this. And like, this is one of the top podcasts on iTunes, right? So I had been hiding it or whatever as a guy, but like I didn't plan on sharing this whole thing, but I'm so glad I did. Right. And he, just asked, what was in it. And I started explaining the ingredients, the clays, why I use grass-fed colostrum, vitamin C, pearl powder, organic kelp powder, American ginseng, and just went into detail, luckily off the cuff. And he's like, well, I didn't know this was commercially available. And I was like, it definitely is not. I didn't have a website, didn't have any name. And he got such a response. And so did I. So we partnered up. I had a product on his site June 26th, just a few months after that podcast. I mean, Dave is the reason why we're here. Having that product on the Bulletproof site, that was one of the biggest thrills of my life to this date. And, you acquire a customer through that. We shot a few more podcasts, just explaining this clay mask, and people loved it. So they came back. People would say sweet things and ask what to use as a follow-up moisturizer. So that's where that little paste that I mentioned, Nuka honey, cacao butter, oil, German chamomile. I found a family that could mass produce, not only that became our night cream, but we went back and forth on a moisturizer, 22 tweaks, 21 phone calls of revisions going back and forth. I found a good, black bottle that turned out to be really good for, preserving the natural ingredients in formula. It's called, in the formula, it's called, Miron, biophotonic violet glass, which only allows the good violet light to enhance the life of the products and mitigate oxidation. So like all of these, yeah. So it was luckily a slow and steady, just growth, but just living in a dream. You get to create something that I remember that year and a half where everybody's kind of saying no, it's okay. But like, and then boom, you get on a platform like Dave Asprey's, and people, by that time, the formula I thought was perfect. And so going, getting the packaging done, the logo, I went to tattoo this, I went to graphic designers. I knew, well, I found the name. Well, the first one was going to be Golden Glow, and then that sounded like a bronzer. So we found Alitura, which is Latin for feeding and nourishing, your skin being your largest organ. You want to treat it like another mouth. So that was perfect. And I'm, really grateful that I came across that, and it's very intentional with what we're about. But the whole, looking back, like 12 years later, nothing's changed. We still bring the heat every day. We treat people how we'd like to be treated. I create products one by one, blank canvas. It's all me. I have personal relationships with 8 chemists all around the country that are aligned, which is so important in the co-packer industry. Because this was all just a dream, and it's a very dynamic formula, the clay mask, and all of our formulas. It's a lot, but it's by design. We want potency and purity in all of our products. We can control that, and the collective.
You should trust those co-packers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I used to audit food and cosmetic facilities. I was an auditor for a gluten-free certified organization company, but I remember going in there, and they're so specific about your products, and they need to stay in a certain area so it's not commingled. And you're very specific with your ingredients. So go on.
Yeah.
Did you find a good cofactor?
Oh, yeah, I did. But that was so hard though. I went through so many meetings in LA, and I remember walking in, I had a little American Apparel Henley on, and room full of, white lab coats in Chatsworth, California. And I go, I'm sorry, like, cause I dipped my finger in the formula. I tasted it, and I'm like, something's off. Can you show me the powder? And brought over like this blank white bag, dipped it in there. It was a little chalky. Like, Jing Herb's pearl powder is clean. And that's like, look, I'm not calling anybody out, but you got to be able to know the weird things about your formula, the taste of the colostrum, because specific colostrum, specific pearl powder, and really even down to bentonite clay, it has a flavor to it. And you can find pearl powder on Alibaba for like 15 a kilo. I still proudly pay 180 a kilo for our Jing Herbs freshwater pearl powder for that. And it was a particle size. I had a personal relationship with George, the then founder. I think he sold the company to a gentleman up in Colorado who's equally as awesome. And then the particle size, the purity, I needed it to be first 6-hour grass-fed colostrum. So like people look, and I didn't know these things, but now I definitely do. But your cost of goods, I didn't. You create your dream, but if they can kind of undercut you, unless I'm in the room, you don't really know while they're mass producing 5 to 10,000 units. So anyway, that was this little nightmare. So I made it myself up until 2017. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And then I found Botanic Beauty Products out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Went there face to face. That straight shooter, family run business for decades, and they made it better than mine. Like obviously, it's just with their machinery. I just trust. We've been with them since. They're amazing people. I actually just talked to them earlier this morning, and stuff like that. Everything has been because I think that I kind of went through that rocky like lack of trust in the beginning.
Sure.
I meet with my chemist face to face, and they understand this is part of my heartbeat. It's not like this business where I have people telling me we have like numbers that we have to hit. It's
Right.
purely
You're passionate.
well, yeah, but like it's a true story, and then like they got to feel that face to face and know that this is about a ripple effect. I want, and we can control that. I just firmly believe that with natural ingredients, with natural what we left out by design, what we didn't fill up with soy-based glycerin and synthetic fragrances and a preservative system that's toxic. We left that out. No. We happily pay a lot of money, like dollars in our gold serum for organic rose oil, like 900 something for a half ounce, and there are 3 different forms of organic rose oil just in the gold serum. But that's like, they're finding out now that, it increases white, brain matter and just through breathing. Like there's so many fascinating components of really good quality essential oils, plant extracts, beeswax, propolis. One of my favorite ingredients is propolis, antifungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial, kind of self-preserving the formula, as well as healing and hydrating at a different level. I mean, bee products are so molecularly complex. Cacao, I could keep going on ingredients, but the point is like, it's just, I firmly believe because I have tried it all through the synthetic, products that just, you put it on and it doesn't feel the same way. For some reason, I have very highly reactive, sensitive skin, and my skin reacts best to those little components of cacao butter, beeswax, manuka honey, sea buckthorn oil, German chamomile, ylang ylang. A lot of essential oils didn't work, but like I read about patch testing behind the ear on the inner wrist before I put it on the face because I mean, I just have that skin that if there's something, that kind of gives it a reaction. It's going to be there for a week and it's going to make you feel down. So like I just use myself as my biggest science experiment throughout this whole formulation process that it turns out, people like and the whole skin types, dry, oily combination, normal. What does that even mean? Working kind of scheme too. And, so we just make it's one, the night cream, the moisturizer, the clay mask, the gold serum, the cleanser, like for everyone. Skin is
So I
skin.
have a little story to tell you. I have very sensitive skin too. And
Mhm.
this was 10, 15 years ago. I was buying everything, going to Nordstrom's, buying all these expensive products, buying stuff that says organic on it, buying everything you could think of that was organic or expensive. And then we have a medical research, OHSU, which is by St. Helens. We have a medical research place I went up to, and they go, bring all your products. And I brought all my products, and they said organic isn't necessarily always going to be good. And they pointed out all these fragrances, but
Yeah.
your stuff is amazing for my skin. I can have it next to my eyes. I can do it because before I'd have these breakouts above my eyes, and they'd be flaky, and they hate fragrances. They don't like. You mentioned lavender. Why don't you have lavender in here?
Oh, lavender is man. So what I did is I used to put it underneath my nose so I'd be breathing it in all night. Great
Yes.
sleep. Don't get me wrong, but I kept getting this red spot right here.
Right.
This was 2008. And like now what I do, you can even see it. It's still a little rosy. I'll put a little patch on right there before I go to bed. Cause I mean, it increases my deep sleep for a fact, but it is extremely sensitive and irritating to.
Same. I have the same thing, and everyone tells you need lavender. You need lavender. I'm like, my eyes don't like it, but your product I love, and you're right. People need to try it because it does feel like gold going on your skin. And you brought up Noxzema. I remember buying that and that smelling like Vicks, and you put this on, and it's just like you feel instantly better. Of course, I have a red light, so I sit under my red light. I want to know, why do I put apple cider in my clay?
Because it acts as it activates the bentonite, the mother enzyme, and specifically the raw organic apple cider vinegar it just activates the calcium bentonite, and it also acts as an astringent from like a toning aspect while wearing the clay mask. I know it kind of makes the scent a little earthy, but it tones the skin as well and brings out the electromagnetic components of the bentonite clay even more. Just really activates the clay mask. You can also use rose water, aloe vera juice, Pellegrino's great. Filtered water is just fine. But if you really want to turn it up, that apple cider vinegar is a game changer for the clay mask.
And do you think it's wrong when I do my clay mask? I always have a little bit left, and I put it in another container, an Alitura container, a glass container. But and then I use that as my exfoliant. Is that wrong, or should I? Is that okay to do?
Wait,
Like
so
an extra product?
just the dry powder or the
No,
use?
it's after I've done all of the after I put it all on, and I have extra. I've been putting it in a glass container for exfoliant later.
So it's completely dry.
No, it's moist.
Oh, it's moist. Oh, so
No.
I mean, ideally, I would let that completely dry. And then when it's dried in the shower, kind of rinse it off, upwards motion. And that's where you get your light exfoliation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
know if I was doing it right, but I'm glad I talked to you, Andy, about that to do it the correct way.
Oh, yeah.
I,
You definitely let it completely dry to get
okay.
like the full capillary constriction. It's going to get nice and tight. Hop in the shower, let the warm water rinse it off, and then gently in an upwards motion, exfoliate your skin in that process. Oh, you've been missing out. Let it completely dry.
Darn it.
We can send you some more.
That stuff lasts for a long time. Your clay stuff has lasted me forever. And just when I invested in this whole, it's such a good and amazing deal. I mean, it's not. Anyways, I have a couple of questions from some ladies
Oh, let's go.
about the product. Dark circles. Which
Okay.
product do you recommend for dark circles under the eyes?
So, I mean, that's the clay mask. If they have a derma roller, whether it's ours or another brand's, do one roll underneath the eye. One roll, just to open up the dermis, then apply the clay mask. Yeah, just like that. Then apply the clay mask as close as you can underneath the eyelids. Let it completely dry. Let those stagnant capillaries start to get circulated. Once the mask dries, you just start to get the microcirculation to the surface of the skin. The ingredients really do the work there. That first roll of derma roller lets the ingredients sink in a little bit further, effectively optimizing the clay mask and that microcirculation. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep.
And I'm telling you, it's an absolute game changer. I don't care if you've had 2 hours of sleep. Because I had bartending jobs and I'd have to be up 7 a.m. for audition. And it was, I mean, I swear by it. So, I mean, maybe just once a week, do it, go up and then go horizontal, neck, décolleté, underneath the nose, upper lip area, game changer. Because it not only allows for optimal absorption of the clay mask or any products that you put on after that, it creates these little micro tears that signal to your skin to repair itself, thickening the collagen layer over time. So it's micro needling at the comfort of your own home. In my opinion, the only difference is actually now they have really good devices with like infrared light and micro sound waves and stuff like that. But it also like 1.5 to 2 millimeter lengths. We have 1 millimeter, 0.5 and 0.25, just 3 different sizes. But you get a very similar result to maintain throughout if you want to get one of those treatments, every 6 months or something. The derma roller is a pretty good comparable way to maintain that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then our next question is blackheads. Does this help with the size of, the size of pores, maybe blackheads around it? Does this help the skin with both? I guess.
That's that clay mask. Pore minimization. Right there. And that derma roller. Once a week, treat yourself. Take some time, half hour to an hour, cleanse, derma roll, put on the clay mask, be intentional, maybe add some essential oils, ylang ylang, German chamomile, blood orange is great to kind of help with the acidity from apple cider vinegar if you're using that. But that just let it completely dry. Over time, you're going to see those pores start to minimize. Follow with the gold serum. Apply a good toner just to keep that, that hydration, but also to minimize the pores. We have caffeine that's specifically in there to do just that. It's a system with niacinamide, caffeine, and a little cane sugar alcohol to really minimize the pores. So that's a system that I use. I used to use those Biore pore strips. Remember?
Oh yeah.
It's just I don't have to use those anymore. I truly attribute that to the clay mask and just it's the truth.
And last question: are you going to have a cosmetic line out soon?
Oh, that's a great question. We get asked that. That's like our number 3 question. Oh, I wish I could recommend a brand. So my chemist in Santa Ana, that is who I would partner with. But the thing is, you, for supply chain reasons, right? I'd probably have to learn, it could get expensive, like 3 to 5 different shades of maybe a foundation. I just don't know enough about it, but that means there's a hole in the market. I mean, we get asked that all the time. I wish I knew a brand that I could recommend. I just, on average, women leave the house with 160 government recognized carcinogens through 12 products. You're thinking makeup, hairspray, perfume, maybe deodorant, who knows? But we want to, toxic buildup over time is real. And so we want to help with that. There's a hole in the market. So that's a great question. We're, locked in, and I have 4 new products right now that same supply chain. It's not a problem. It's just a lot of, overthinking, but, maybe that could be next down the road. But,
Anything that you're making now? Anything new coming out soon?
oh, absolutely. Ojo de Oro. This is look at that color though.
That's beautiful. I love it.
I mean, just rubs in. So that blue pigment right there is copper peptide, blue tansy, German chamomile. But I mean, so you mentioned the red light. You put that on. Okay. You derma roll, you put this on, you sit in front of that red light, 10 to 15 minutes, put a little frequency music
I'm
on.
going to do that right now.
Yeah, but we got to send you a sample of this. Anyway, I'm telling you, I'm getting chills. It's been a while since I've been this excited about a product, but we have 1.1% copper peptide. I'm a weirdo with numbers. And then argireline and peptilium. It's like nature's retinol alternative. And argireline is one of the most researched ingredients for minimizing crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. As clean as you can make it. We found that without a sodium benzoate additive or any type of filler in that. So I was very happy to source those ingredients in a base of 24 karat food grade gold beeswax, rose oil, turquoise powder, rose quartz, a little malachite for a ceremonial experience before you go to bed, or if you put it on day. Anyway, so that's Ojo de Oro. It means eye of gold. And I am through the roof excited on.
When will that be out for us to buy?
Well, I'm designing the label right now where I think we're going silk screen on top based on that. I don't know if you see that logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this beautiful sun with a pyramid and a beautiful eye in the middle. So I just, you want to blow people out of the water. They get it in the mail. Oh, let's open it up. Boom. You know what I mean? So everything is, it takes time. So, but the formula is done. That is the most exciting part. I've been working on that for over a year, and very excited about that.
Well, anytime you need a guinea pig to test anything of your lines, I'm here for you, Andy. I got your back. And I'm excited for the new product, and I need to reorder my gold serum, and I'll do that as soon as we're done here. And I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be with us at the Comeback Seat. And your journey has been amazing.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me. And please stay close. I may take you up on that testing option. And again, thanks for having me on. I love chatting about something that really changed my life and helps people, like you mentioned at the start of the show, just feel a little bit better about themselves and what they see in the mirror. That's what this is all about. So thanks again.
You're welcome. And you're very handsome to look at. And thank you. And we will chat later, Andy.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. You can hit the red button.